one, show less. You can simplify the text editor to focus just on the things that you have to use a lot, such as, for example, bolding. You can bold and unbold with that, or italicization, underlining, that sort of stuff. This is the color button. You can hover over any of these buttons and they'll show you what they're for. An important one that a lot of people don't tend to use because it's turned off as a default is the spell checker. So when you first start, it will be toggled off, and something like this, or will get right past, and you'll never notice that you made a mistake. However, if you click there to toggle the spell checker, you'll be able to see spelling errors. Warning, sometimes, I don't know why, BlackBoard will kind of miss that you wrote something as a single word, and it will flag a spelling error that really isn't one. So that's just something to be aware of. For whatever reason, it's underlining just a part of the word, and that's your clue that, you know, that's actually probably spelled correctly. It's just that BlackBoard has a little bit of a glitch to it. But anyway, it's helpful to keep that toggled on. Secondly, you should be aware that you can use this toggle up here, the full screen button, to do what it says and make the text editor window much bigger. And that'll make it easier for you to edit anything with any length to it. So I recommend that you use that. Now I'm going to click show more so we can see some of the other editing tools. And really I'm only going to talk about the important ones. So most of these, you know, you hover over them, you'll be able to see what they do. They're a little bit useful, but you can kind of pick and choose how much of this you really want to do. I don't care a lot about formatting in this class, but there are certain things that you really should be able to do and know how to do. And one of the worst is, or best to know, is hyperlinking. So let's say I have a website that I want to share as part of a discussion. So here's one that's just about this bird I was researching the other day. And if I click up here in the address bar and highlight the link, I can copy that link by right-clicking if I want to, but I'm going to use keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to hold down the Control key, that would be the Command key if it was a Mac, and the C, hit the C key for copy. And I'm going to go back into the forum that I was working on, and I'm going to paste that link in there. And that's Control, Command on a Mac, V, which of course stands for paste. Why? I don't know. Now what you're used to is probably that would be an active hyperlink. But in this world of BlackBoard, it isn't. In this text editor, that is not a hyperlink. It's still just unformatted text. And so to make it a link, you have to highlight that passage there, and then you have to click. Notice what happens when you highlight something. That tool right there, which is normally grayed out, becomes active. It says, oh, there's something for me to apply a link to. All right. So what you highlighted is where the link will appear, and you click Insert Edit Link. And now you still have in the clipboard the URL for that website. So Control V again puts the link into the link path box. And for the target, just leave it and watch what happens. I'm going to click insert. Well, that wasn't what I was thinking would happen. Normally, all right, I'll show you what you should do then. Let's see. You want to edit this link. So you click the link tool again, and instead of opening this window frame, you should always select open in a new window, blank. I don't know why it's not the default, but it isn't. And you hit update. And this way, somebody who's reading your post will be able to click on that link and it'll open a new tab for them. It probably will be a tab, not a window. So that's it. You highlight the text that you want to be the link. And what I often like to do is rather than pasting in the hyperlink itself, just highlight some descriptive text. So here's a cool site about this bird. And then click the part that you want to be a link. And then click insert edit link. Paste in the link path, Control V. Open a new window and insert. And I'm done. That seems like a small thing. It doesn't take long. It's a skill that you really should, learn because in different contexts it's very useful, and it will really improve your work in this class in terms of how professional it looks and how well it works for your peers and for me when we're reading your posts. The only other tool I wanted to talk about a little bit is the image tool. So on the bottom row are some special kind of multimedia things. Most of those you will not be using, but a very useful one is right here, insert edit image. So once again, you click that, opens up a box, of course, and almost always what you're going to want to do is browse your computer to get the image. And I don't ask for images a lot, but if you do ever need to put an image in, this is how you do it. You browse your computer, you find the image that you have stored somewhere in a directory available through your computer's drive, and that requires some learning to make sure that you know how to do that. But once you do, you'll be able to use the same path to find your images whenever you need them. And let's say I wanted to use this picture of a prairie that I took. I would just click on it, hit open. You'll see a preview of that image. And if you want to change anything about it, you can cut the size. For example, maybe I want it to be smaller. And if I can constrain proportions, it'll shrink proportionally. And maybe I want it to be on the left side of the page with some wrapping around it. And I can just leave it like that. I can do other things, like if I want a border, I can put in a number like 5 or something like that, and you'll be able to see there's a black border there. If I don't want a border but I want a space around it, I can put 5 there, and I can see that, oh, there'll be space around my image. That's about all you'd ever want to do. Hit insert. If you put in a description, it will help people know, what they're looking at, which can be useful for people. And there you have an image entered into your post. You can see 800 pixels is big, so you can really shrink it down a lot. If you put something in, you're not really sure about it after the case, you can click right click it and click image, and then you can change the appearance. For example, I decided that's just too big, so I'm going to cut it way back to like a 400 pixel size. Hit update. Continue. Well, maybe I should put in a description. So I go to general and I put in a description, Nachusa grasslands, and then you can see what happens with that. And for the title, Prairie at Nachusa, and hit update. Now the image is smaller, which is the way I wanted it. And if you hover over it, you'll see the title, which is basically helpful for a lot of people, especially people who can't see well. They can get at least a description of what's in that image. So I don't actually want this image in here, so I'm going to delete it. I just click on it to select it and hit delete on my keyboard, and it's gone. So easy ways to add links and add images, and the link tool is the most important one that you really should get used to using and learn how to use effectively. Tabs are an essential thing here. They allow you to go between your source and where you're editing, and so you should get very used to flipping back and forth between tabs, copying the URL from the address bar and then pasting into your form, or using description and then adding the URL to that and activating it as a link with link tool. Thanks. I hope this helps you have better satisfaction with what you're doing in Google. Blackboard editor. One last thing. Sometimes when you paste text, especially from, say, Microsoft Word into the Blackboard editor, it's going to be messy. You're going to have weird formatting glitches and stuff like that. There is a thing you can do about that. You can select whatever text has weird formatting that you don't like, maybe all of it, maybe your entire post, and click this button up here that says remove formatting. And what that will do is it'll return it to the default font. It will remove any odd aspects that interfere with the way it appears in the text editor and in Blackboard. If you want to see whether your changes worked or how they'll look when somebody else looks at your post, you can click this button up here. It's the preview, and it will show you how your content is going to look to a user, and you can see that formatting change worked, for instance. Thank you. Hope this helps. Bye-bye.